Hello tech community, welcome to P-TekLearn. In this series of 108 practice questions, I will walk you through 108 of the most commonly asked questions that can help you pass the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate exam. For each question, I will explain the correct answer in detail on each slide. If you have any questions or need further clarification, feel free to ask in the comments section. Before we begin, I request you to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications so you will be alerted whenever a new video in the series is released. In the previous session, we have seen the first 5 questions along with the answers and explanation. In this session, let's go through the next 5 questions. Question number 6. An application has its database servers in the backend on AWS. To troubleshoot an issue with the database servers, a support team needs access on SSH port to the database servers, which are running in private subnets. How to provide a secured access to the support team by restricting the direct access to the private subnets. So for this, we need to use a bastion host. But the bastion host must be in the public subnet so that it can connect to private subnet to the SSH port and access the database servers. So let's go through the options. Option A, deploy bastion host in private subnets. No, which is not correct. So here the option B is the right answer. Deploy bastion host in public subnets. The users will access SSH connection to database servers in private subnets through these bastion hosts on public subnets. So option B is the right answer. Let's see the other options as well. Deploy NAT instances in private subnets and deploy NAT instances in public subnets. Okay, the purpose of the NAT instance is to provide internet traffic to hosts in the private subnets. Users from the internet can't be able to do SSH using NAT instances to hosts in the private subnets. So option C and D are not valid. Question number 7. A financial company wants to migrate around 800 gigabytes of data from on-premise NFS storage to AWS EFS storage. As a solutions architect, what's the easiest and most cost-effective solution you provide to meet this requirement? Okay, so this is a data migration from the data center to AWS cloud platform. Let's go through the options. Option A, use AWS data sync. That's it. So that is the right answer. So we don't even go through the other options here because data sync is a service used to transfer data between on-premise storage to AWS S3, EFS or FSx. It is very cost-effective, easy to use, and can handle the transfer to EFS and S3 as well. So, option A is the right answer here. Question number 8. A startup company hosted a web application in public subnet and a DynamoDB database running in a default VPC private subnet with default network ACL settings created by AWS. The requirement is to allow all customers to access web application only on HTTPS connections, and the database must only be accessible to web application. What is the best solution to meet this requirement? Select 2 options. Okay, so here the question is how to set up a secure connection between the web application and the DynamoDB. Okay, the web application is running on public subnet, whereas the database is running in the private subnet. So to achieve this sort of setup, what we need to do is we have to ensure that the traffic can flow into the web server from anywhere. And we need to allow inbound security at 443. The port number 443 is the default HTTPS port. Once it is done, then we need to set up the traffic can flow from the web server to the database server via the database security group. So only the database security group is allowed to access the database server here. So that is how we need to set up the environment to achieve this requirement. Now let's go through the options. Option A, create a web server security group that allows HTTPS port 443 inbound traffic from anywhere 0.0.0.0/0 and apply it to the web servers. Perfect. So there is a security group created that allows traffic to port number 443. Okay, what next? Create a DB server security group that allows DynamoDB port 8000 inbound and specify the source as the web server security group. That's it. So option A opens up the security group for web server, and option B creates a security group to the DB server that allows only the traffic coming from web server security group. So option A and B are the correct options here. If you see the option C, create a web server security group that allows HTTPS port 443 inbound traffic from anywhere and apply it to both web servers and DynamoDB servers. Now, so that is not at all practical, because the web server security group on port 443 can't be applied to the DynamoDB server. Okay. Option D, create a network ACL and web server subnet, allow HTTPS port 443 inbound and specify source as 0.0.0.0. Network ACLs are stateless, so we need to set rules for both inbound and outbound traffic of a network ACL, so which is not applicable in this scenario. So option E, create a DB server security group that allows HTTPS port 443 inbound and specify, HTTPS port 443 for database server is meaningless. Let's skip that too. So the right answers are A and B. Question number 9. A company hired you as a solutions architect. You are tasked to design an online shopping cart web application for their global customers and to host on AWS EC2, which should perform high with very low network latency. What's your solution to improve the application performance? Select two options. Option A, direct connect, is not the right option here because direct connect links on-premise network to AWS network. So in the question, there is no on-premises services mentioned. Option B, EC2 auto scaling group. EC2 auto scaling group is limited to a particular region, so it cannot improve the performance of the EC2 instances spanned across multiple regions. Because this online shopping cart has global customers, users from different parts of the world, from different regions will access this application. So EC2 auto scaling group is not the right option. Option C, AWS Cloud Trail is to capture the logs. So this is not something to improve the performance of a web application. Option D, AWS Global Accelerator. This is the right option. AWS Global Accelerator works at the network layer and can direct the traffic to optimal endpoints. So this is the one of the options to improve the performance. And option E, CloudFront. This is also the right option to use to improve the performance and low network latency, because CloudFront delivers content through edge locations and users are routed to the edge location with the lowest time delay. So option D and E are the right options. Question number 10. A product development company wants to develop a highly scalable system to track user feedback. The feedback is captured in documents and must remain available for immediate download for up to 3 months and then be deleted. What's the correct solution for this requirement? Okay, option A. Store all documents in S3 and create a lifecycle policy to remove them after 3 months. Looks like option A is the correct answer, right? So in S3, we can store all the documents and we can create lifecycle policies which will automatically delete the documents after 3 months. Option B, use Amazon EBS to store documents and delete it after 3 months. EBS storage is not the right option here because the documents needs to be stored in highly scalable system as per the requirement. Option C is incorrect since the records must be available for immediate download, which is not possible with the Amazon Glacier storage. Option D is also incorrect since EFS lifecycle management is used to migrate files or documents that have not been accessed for a certain period of time, and they will be moved to the infrequent access storage class. Files moved to this infrequent access storage class remain indefinitely and not get deleted. So the right option for this requirement is option A. Thank you for watching our video. If you like this video, please like it and then subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Bye now.